Today's debate is between the Epistemo Vikas Leadership School, Hyderabad, and the Doon Heritage School, Dehradun. This is the 18th debate so far. This is a Pool D match. Some matches have already happened in Pool D. So I would request you to check those scores because kids, those are the scores you're trying to beat. Remember, the top two teams from each pool qualify for the quarterfinals. Before we move on, as I said, Zero Hour is powered by Stayfree. Stayfree is a women's hygiene brand that does a phenomenal amount of great work, particularly for young women who are entering their puberty. Here's a short public service announcement from Stayfree that I would like to share with all of you before we begin.
मेरे पीरियड शुरू हो गए पहली बार हो रहे हैं मुझे तो काफी अजीब लग रहा है
पीरियड्स में मुझे आसान काम भी मुश्किल लगता है बहुत दर्द होता है
मैं किसी के पास बैठ भी नहीं सकती और जब मैं उठती हूँ बार-बार निशान चेक करती हूँ
घर में एक ही वॉशरूम है तो पैड चेंज करने में मुझे शर्म आती है
मुझे पैड को कचरे में छोड़ना पड़ता है हर बार
She may not understand what she's going through. She just needs to know. You do. Over 2 million girls will get their first period in lockdown. Your daughter or sister could be one of them. Talk to her. Tell her.
It's normal. It's just a period.
Well, after that wonderful, heartwarming message, it is now time to move on with the proceeds of the day. Today's topic is This House Believes Going Digital Increases Inequality. I repeat, this house believes going digital increases inequality. Remember, you're free to interpret the topic as you want. As long as you can convince the judges of your arguments, you're home on this course. These are the two teams today from the Epistemo Vikas School in Hyderabad. Vani ma'am is the adjudicator. Surya would be speaking for the motion. I can see you, Surya, thank you. And Guru would be speaking against the motion. Guru, if we could have you on camera as well. Hey, wonderful to have you. From the Doon Heritage School, Dehradun, Esha ma'am is the adjudicator. Aryan is speaking for the motion and Tulika is speaking against the motion. Good to have you all with us. I have seen that the judges have already checked the score sheets. I can see that you have access. So without much ado, let us proceed. The Epistemo Vikas Leadership School Hyderabad versus the Doon Heritage School Dehradun in the 18th match of the Zero Hour debate. This is the order we'll be going in. Surya, we would start with you, going for the motion, followed by Tulika speaking against the motion. Then Aryan will speak for the motion and Guru finally speaking against the motion. Judges, I hope you have access to the scoring sheets now because we are going to start in just a minute. Wonderful. I will stop my screen share so that we can see you guys better. Surya, before we start the debate, good afternoon. Let's get to know you a little better. What are your hobbies?
Yeah, so I'm Surya Pranav. I'm from grade 10 now of Epistemo Vikas Leadership School. I really just love coming across topics, whether it be from everything from cars to hip hop to philosophy, and then just researching for a few days. So that's my hobby. So I'll be speaking for the debate.
Wonderful, Surya. If you are ready with your arguments, we will start your time now.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am really excited to be here. I am Surya Pranav, and on this beautiful afternoon, I have the honor of being the first speaker for the motion. This house believes that going digital leads to inequality. Before my actual points, I just like to state that we from Team Proposition don't want to stop online transformations. We understand that technological progress is a good thing, but we're only asserting that there are a few unfair complications created by these transformations. We acknowledge their usefulness in times like this, but what I seek to prove as a speaker from the Team Proposition is that the act of going digital, which I will be defining as taking something that would otherwise be exclusively available online and turning it exclusively available in the real world and turning it into something that can be accessed through computers, creates its own fair share of unjust and unfair inequalities which have to be addressed. This is mainly on three fronts. students, small businesses, and individuals with corporations. Front 1, students. Within a student body, access to resources will obviously be unequal. For example, my Wi-Fi speed may not be the same as my friend's Wi-Fi speed. And so not everyone will be able to experience all of their classes in the same way. And even if you do have the basic necessities to access your classes, you're obviously going to lose out if you don't have things like high speed Wi-Fi, as these will end up limiting your potential. And not to mention, these classes are fundamentally very different from attending a classroom. So the students that get used to it faster, and the students who already spend a lot of time watching stuff online or and end up spending a lot of time online, will have an unfair advantage. And people who don't have access already, like people who live in areas uh, live in underdeveloped areas, are all in completely new territory. Hence, they're at a disadvantage, and it could be a multitude of years for them to receive the infrastructure necessary. Essentially, what I'm saying is that digitization of classes is creating a system of education with an unfair advantage for the affluent, even more so than before, something that we on proposition believe is morally unjust. Moving on to front 2, small businesses. Going digital is a daunting and frivolous process which takes a great deal of the income away from small businesses. Additionally, large corporations with more experience and more money will be able to do it a lot better than these businesses, putting them at a further disadvantage. This is especially bad in the current time when a proper digitization process can make or break a business. Can your local pop shop go through delivery, logistics, inventory, and e-maintenance costs? Probably not. And that's not even considering that they have to get their entire workforces to be online as well. Imagine you're a shopkeeper with a real shop. If we take inventory management, for instance, you can just count the number of people who buy brand X and count the number of people who buy brand Y and do inventory management accordingly. But if you digitize your business, you'll have to hire another company and pay them a slice of your income to set up your website and to see and to collect your data and give it to you. All of which it may be cheap at first, but it's not necessarily cheap to do it properly. And not to mention, all of these extra costs will obviously lead to layoffs in the business. And the people getting laid off are mostly going to be the people who go down to the field and do the world in the real world. And we can't exactly expect every one of these to be good at marketing themselves online. Let's say you're a cashier and you just got fired, and if you don't have a particular skill set for marketing yourself online, you're practically doomed, as it's going to be an extra hard task for you to find another job in the world of LinkedIn. Front 3, corporations. Now, going digital would often require the utilization of services from other large monopolistic industries. Whether I want to set up my website using Amazon's web services, or whether I want to use LinkedIn for my jobs, or Airbnb to rent out my house. A BBC article says this about this, quote, on Airbnb, the raw data shows that non-black and black hosts receive strikingly different rents, roughly $144 versus $107 per night on average for the exact same locations. A 2013 study of Google search engine suggested that names more commonly adopted by African Americans may be strongly associated with criminal record search results. These major corporations, which are often the only ways to go digital, come with inherent flaws, whether it be based on race or gender, which will affect everyone trying to go digital, from individuals trying to just market themselves to employers to landlords trying to rent their homes. To conclude, yes, sure, digitization might have its benefits, but it also comes part and parcel with a whole load of inequalities, something which individuals, organizations, and governments all have to combat. And team opposition's denial of these very rational points, despite the evidence provided, would represent a refusal to accept reality and take corrective measures. With that, I rest my case and over to the moderators.
Well done, Surya. Very well structured, wonderfully argued. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. Judges, you have access to the scoring sheets. Meghna, I have your score. Can I take that as final?
Yes, please, Shubhai.
Thank you so much. In my hurry to start the debate, I have missed out on a very, very vital piece. As you know, there are 3 judges, one from each school. Meghna Laha is the neutral adjudicator. Meghna is an AVP at Notebook. She used to work with the World Bank. She holds an MPA from SIPA, Columbia University, New York, and an MS from the University of Rhode Island in the US. And she did a phenomenal amount of work with the World Bank, monitoring 42 unsupervised projects across Africa. And we are very, very happy and glad that she's part of the Notebook team. And so you guys who are debating today, you have somebody extremely well versed with the world of inequality across the globe, judging as you speak. Well, Surya, I have her marks for you, and I must say, very well done. Let's see how the other judges are scoring you. Vani ma'am, I have your scores. Thank you. Isha ma'am, I have your score as well. Can I take that as final?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, Surya, if you can see the screen, these are your scores after your first 5 minutes on the screen now. Very well done. I'm sure in class 10, these are scores you would like to see on your mark sheet as well. Tulika, you're up next. After that wonderful opening from Surya, we have your views against the motion. But before we start with the debate, we would love to know you a little better. Can we have you on camera and audio, please?
Yeah, sure.
Hi, Tulika.
I'm Tulika and I like to write. I'm in class 12 and moreover, I like debates and MUN. It's my thing. I just like to debate on it.
Wonderful. So Tulika, the inveterate debater, if you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time now.
Good afternoon, honorable panel of judges and fellow audience. I, Tulika of class 12 science, will be representing on behalf of Doon Heritage School. I will be speaking against the motion. Technology is closing the gap between what one can think and what one can do. As a result, the equality of opportunities is unmatched in history. Before jumping onto the debate of whether the digitalization advantages are overpowering its disadvantages or not, I would like to discuss about digitalization and its importance on today's era. If we look at the word digitalization, we will find that digitalization is a generic term for the digital transformation of society and the economy. It describes the transition from an industrial age characterized by analog technologies to an age of knowledge and creativity characterized by digital technologies and digital business innovation. Digital technology has transformed nearly every aspect of modern life. Travel, work, shopping, entertainment, communication are just some of the areas that have been revolutionized in recent decades. It's now rare to find an electronic device or a piece of machinery that doesn't incorporate digital technologies in some way. Since the topic of the debate is very vast in terms of promoting equality or inequality through digitalization, my motive would be to take you through all of the possible perspectives of the spectrum. Point number one, in studies of technology and gender, the liberating perspective holds the view that rapid development and spread of digitalization have made a great impact on gender equality. The technology determinist view contends that technology creates opportunity for labor. Following this reasoning, digital technology has been regarded as emancipator force that helps women gain access and participate in previously male-dominated industries. Point number two, as the case of China illustrates, new platforms also offer many possible ways to narrow the opportunity gap. Consider the example. The Chinese platform Taobao.com from the Alibaba Group is the largest online marketplace by volume among emerging economies. It allows tea growers, furniture makers, suitcase manufacturers, and other small producers and merchants, including those from remote villages, to reach their customer in Shanghai and Beijing and even overseas easily and cheaply. Previously, these entrepreneurs were unable to sell directly in sufficiently large volumes because of high intermediary charges. Although e-commerce platforms can benefit companies everywhere, they disproportionately boost small businesses in rural and remote areas and thus help to equalize opportunities. Point number three, digital technology makes it easy to stay in touch with friends, family, and work, even if you are in another part of the world. Websites, apps, software have all been helped to users to socialize. Social media, messaging, texting, laptop, tablets, and mobile phone means that nobody needs to feel isolated in digital world. Users can regularly be updated with the news or local events on social happening. All of this on our fingertips, and the candidates strongly believe it does not encourage inequality. Point number 4. Digital technology holds out the promise of directly reducing the imbalance in educational resources between rich and poor. Anybody with the access of internet now has the access to huge proportion of world's knowledge over the web. Lessons and courses can now be delivered virtually online. Digital technology can also be easier to use to help with people with disabilities and often give them equal access. Point number 5. The nature of work has been transformed by digital technology. Increased connectivity options mean that many people now have far more opportunities for working from home as remote working becomes increasingly common. Many jobs are now can be done from hundreds or even thousands of miles away without difficulty. Without the need of all the workers to be present in the same building, many other working practices are now possible. So, talking in terms of today's scenario, during a global pandemic, we are able to attend online classes of school, offices, MUNs, conferences, workshops, seminars, and whatnot. The list goes on. As a matter of fact, this very debate competition is being conducted online only and only because of digitalization. Estimating the fact that ongoing debate is between two schools from two different states promoting equality and not inequality. So my friends, this was my stand on the topic, and I ask you that whether or not pros of the topic are enough to look on the comforting prospect of digitalization. Thank you.
Well done, Tulika. Very well argued. I would say Surya's points now have tough contention, and the judges have a tough time on their hands scoring you. Meghna, have your scores? May I take them as final? Vani ma'am, sorry, but Tulika's scores go in the last column on your right. If I may copy these scores here.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm doing it.
Sure.
Yes, my scores are final, Shubhai.
Thank you, Meg. I can see a Shamam score coming in as well. To both schools, do remember that there's an audience poll at the end for the best speaker, and the school with the best speaker wins 25 additional points, which have been the decider on past debates. So if you still are calling in your students to join, it would be a good time to do that. Isha ma'am, I have your score. Thank you. Vani ma'am, may I take that as your final score?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Well, Tulika, if you are seeing the screen, these are your scores after your first 5 minutes up on the screen now. Very well done. Aryan, you are now going to speak for the motion, which means against your schoolmate. Aryan, can we have you on camera, please?
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, Aryan, you're audible. But I still don't see you on camera. Aryan, we are not getting a camera feed from you. Ladies and gentlemen, just give us a couple of minutes while we sort the technical bit out. I think Aryan is logging back in.
Yes, sir, I just got update. He'll be logging in 2-3 minutes.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible, Aryan.
Okay. Okay, hi. Good
Perfect. We can
afternoon.
see you now. Great. Before we start, we would love to know you a little bit better.
Hi, sir. I'm Aryan Kothari. I'm the head boy of Doon Heritage School. I'm a senior level basketball player. Thank you.
Wonderful. Head boy and a basketball player. Good to have you with us. Aryan, if you're ready with your arguments, we will start your debate now.
Thank you so much. Is this time different? Artificial intelligence is capturing the curiosity, hope, and fear of people all over the world. Will AI still extraordinary improvements in security, healthcare, and convenience, all while creating new industries, boosting global productivity, and improving quality of life? Or will AI cause millions of workers to become redundant, catalyze massive of unemployment, and undermine the social economic fabric of world policy? Well, technology does a lot of wonderful things, but the cruel irony is that it's also inflaming our difference. Good afternoon, honorable panel. Well, I'm going to keep it simple. You have a local monopoly. Your local dentist may not be the world's best, but if he's nearby, he can do the job well. You'll not go to another city just because if they're better. Today, with the tape recording, CDs, and then of course the internet, you just need to sing once, and 7 billion people can listen your songs again and again and again, and royalty keeps pouring in. All while the local singers are underemployed in some rare bars that still want the live gigs. That's why most new billion-dollar companies are produced in Silicon Valley. You only need to invent it once, and the billions of people will use it, just like a very on Google, Facebook, etc. Why only the top 1% should control everything? The marginal costs are minimal, and the market is global. You either the world's best or the next neighborhood business. Hence, the money usually spread all over the world in local monopoly are now concentrated to the part of the world that can do its best. A report by New York Times says the largest US firm in 2017, Apple, had a great market capitalization 40 times as high as that of largest US firm in 1962. But its total employment was only 1/5 of that latter. Well, that's something might trick you over here. You bring a very important point with automation. Automation is a huge factor because if you're poor, all you can sell is your labor, not only physically, but also intellectual labor. The only reason why anyone still have a job today is because it is expensive to automate your job compared to your salary. This is changing as the cost of automation is going down, especially if you live in the area with a higher salary. 3 million American workers are strivers in one way or another. Their jobs will all be gone once Google and Tesla are eventually being perfected. With Moore's law on the dying gas, it is still taking quite hard. The automatic cars of today will be nothing in compared to 3-4 years later. This is the work of future. You either own the machine, maintain the machine, or your job. But the day is when you are the machine. It's over. Machines do not take sick leaves, annual leaves, public holidays. Machines work 24 hours, 7 days, and 365 days in a year without taking a single break other than maintenance. And best of all, machines do not get paid anything more than electricity and fuel. Intelligent automated machines are now essentially automating the human brain. As these machines learn faster and more precisely than most humans, with regards to required job skills for performing work in growing number of fields. Furthermore, these intelligent automated machines are less prone to error and far cheaper than the human counterpart. These intelligent automated machines simply represent more efficiency and economic workers with regards to the producing less costly economic goods and services compared to the vast majority of human workers. The incremental cost of growing a business is very low, as the incremental cost of replicating a machine is very low. Adding an additional human worker is high in comparison, involving training costs, uncertainty of the employment retention. Well, at last, I would like to conclude with thought and the fact that impact on economy is just the winner takes it all situation. Thank you. Over to the moderator.
Well done, Aryan. Despite some initial technical hiccups, I think that was very well done. Let's see how the judges are scoring you.
Those are my final scores, Shubhayu. Thank you.
Thank you, Meghna. Vani ma'am, I have your scores. May I take them?
Yes, sir. Those are my final scores.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Isha ma'am, you'll have to remember to fill in row 9 later for Aryan, please, after the rebuttal.
Done, sir.
Is that the final score, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Well, Aryan, I have all 3 scores. And if you're seeing your screen, these are your scores after your first 5 minutes of arguments on the screen now. Well done. And now it's Guru's turn. Guru has been patiently watching all 3 of you argue, take away some of his points and perhaps fuel some more.
Yeah. Good afternoon to
Before
everyone.
you start, yes, we would love to know you a little better.
Well, I mean, I'm an MPC student. That says a lot about me. I'm a techie guy, and I'm really into debates. So there's that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Guru, if you're ready with your arguments, we will start your time now.
Yeah. Thank you, educator. I am Guru Sai Prasad Malapalli Gajula, and today, on this fine afternoon, I'll be supporting the opposition in saying that going digital in fact leads to opportunity. I'll be presenting my argument in a 4-pronged approach, where I'll be talking about the equality that going digital creates in the fields of education, income or jobs, businesses, and finally, politics. Starting off with education, there's no morsel of doubt in saying that conventional education is expensive. The average middle-class family deposits lakhs per annum into schools and coaching centers. And it's become expensive that it's borderline prejudice for lower-income families to access proper education with their limited budget. Traditional means of education also have students cross mile-high borders for blocking women, the disabled, and in some cases caste, all before they can even see the school compound. All of these unfair prejudices can be solved by going digital. There are a plethora of websites online that help teach skills and nurture knowledge with the help of trained experts for a price that outmatches any physical institution. Examples include Khan Academy, which is a well-established nonprofit that educates students from pre-primary to 12th grade for free. But the simplest going online to educate marginal students is Kalvit Tolai Kabache, mind the pronunciation. It's an enterprise by the Tamil Nadu government that uses television to educate children across the social scale during this untimely pandemic. Moving to my next point, as more and more people enter the industries, traditional HR teams are forced to make tough choices based on an unconscious bias. This is exemplified by the fact that 44% of applicants are faced discriminatory issues during their interviews. This is blasphemy. But by going digital, HR teams can implement a series of AI chatbots and machine learning programs that only take factors like experience and qualifications into considering an applicant's potential, not their gender. Examples of these implementations include Unbiasedify and Tuxedo. Moving on, we move to business. Setting up a company seems nigh impossible for the average Joe, for he neither has investment nor the technical know-how to manage the logistics and market his brand. This creates a rift where only the affluent are given the educations on the art of setting up a business, and everyone has to go bankrupt in the process or be saved by luck. But by migrating to a digital platform, you need not need a PhD or thousands of rupees and seed investment. All you need is an idea. This is because the internet offers you thousands of courses which will get you on speed with skills everyone else has. That too for a bargain price. On top of that, websites like Wix and Squarespace make it easy for you to get started and make a mark immediately. But going digital doesn't just benefit budding entrepreneurs. Rather, it withholds pristine tools for enhancement for various other businesses. Tools like the digital twin, predictive maintenance algorithms, generative design software, price forecast programs, all help small businesses cut down costs but improve efficiency. And they help your business grow by forecasting industry trends. Moving on to my final point, political equality. With the rise of digital platforms, especially social media, private citizens have the tools to affect political change on a level like never before. Going digital means that anyone has access to the news with the flip of a channel or a simple scroll. This means that once people enter the digital realm, they have a better perception over the ruler's decisions, and they can retaliate in the event of an unhealthy decision with a much greater impact. A great example of this can be seen in the takedown of a political strongman all over the Middle East during the Arab Spring of 2011, which, according to experts, was only possible due to the chat apps and social media platforms. And more importantly, the issue of police brutality in the United States really shows the power of social media and going digital on political equality. For years, protests against unjust killings by the police have been ignored by the government. Most of these killings for stupendous reasons, but none of them were voiced out in the manner in which they were heard, nor were those police punished for their heinous acts. But that wasn't the case for George Floyd. By taking matter into their own hands, digital news outlets and social media force the government's hands. You're taking action against the officers, something that's nigh impossible when considering jurisdiction for police in the United States. To conclude, by going digital, you'll have been given the opportunity to both improve yourself, your business, and the world around you, regardless of who you are or where you come from. And if the proposition doesn't believe that is equality, we from the opposition don't know what they're expecting. With that said, I rest my case. Order the adjudicator.
Well done, Guru. Wonderful points there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. Meghna, have your points? Can I take that as final?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Isha ma'am, I have your points. May I take that as final?
Yes, sir, please.
Thank you so much. Vani ma'am, I have your scores as well. Can I take that as final?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Well, Guru, if you're looking at the screen now, these are your scores after your initial 5 minutes of debating on the screen. Very, very well done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was the first round where everybody had prepared statements and arguments that they gave you for the 5 minutes that they had. Now comes the time to rebut the opposition bench. Remember, you're not rebutting the opposition school, but the opposition bench, which means Surya and Aryan, you're rebutting points put forth by Tulika and Guru, and vice versa. Surya, we will come back to you to start. Can we have you on camera, please? Yeah, Surya, we can see you. So if you're ready with your rebuttal, your time for your rebuttal starts now.
Both Tulika and Sai made some excellent points, but I felt like none of these points addressed the main issue, which is that access to the internet, which they say does all the wonderful things that humanity could have ever dreamt of, is in the first place extremely unequal. So Tulika made a wonderful point that online classes are letting education flourish even in times like this. Well, okay, but is every single student who can go to a regular school able to attend online classes? Probably not, whether it's because of unavailability of money or unavailability of infrastructure. Additionally, she was talking about how work from home and how people are still able to work in times like this, but that doesn't fit my definition of digitalization at all. If you're able to do your work on a computer, it was always digital. And Sai made a point about education. He said that people will still be able people don't even have to go to a school at all. You can still go through websites like Khan Academy and learn. But how is that a proper substitute for an education system that has been perfected and understood for centuries now? How is that a substitute for the motivation that a teacher giving you homework provides? How is that a substitute for the campus, for your fellow students, and for all the camaraderie that you get for being in the school? And whilst I was talking about a rift about the affluent setting up businesses and the less affluent setting up businesses, doesn't the rift still exist? Except now it's just been changed by people who can afford to have internet connections and use and be aware of all of these wonderful resources that Sai mentioned. And as wonderful as they are, most people still don't know that these exist. So on one hand, you have the people who are hyper educated with good internet, who can actually afford to use all of this, and on the other hand, you have people who can't afford internet, who'll still have to try, fail, and and only succeed because of luck. How is that an answer to the points I made? This is the question I want both of you to answer. Thank you.
Well done, Surya. Well, let's see how the others rebut your points in their turn, but I think that was very well done. Judges, you have access to the scoring sheets. If you could please put in Surya's scores out of 5. Isha ma'am, I have your score. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Vani ma'am, I
sir.
have your score as well. Thank you. Meghna, I have your score.
Thank you, sir.
So Surya, here's the deal. I have the scores and I'm not going to show them to you. I am the evil moderator who will keep the scores away from you until all 4 rebuttals are over. So you'll have to stay in suspense. Tulika,
Right.
you're up next. If you can have me back
Yeah.
on camera.
So
Hold
my
on.
opposition.
We'll start your time. Right? Tulika, if you're ready with your rebuttal, we will start your time for rebuttal now.
Okay, so first of all, the opposition stated about the school factors being online and it is not available for all of them. First of all, let me just tell you, we all are taking online classes, right? One way or the other, if we are having any type of problem, our teachers are there. Like if we are not able to access to Google Meet or Zoom meetings where the online classes are being conducted, they are making WhatsApp groups, which is again comes in digitalization. They can send homework and they can send audios or videos so we can go through it. Second of all, you talk about a Wi-Fi connection. So it is not necessary that everybody has Wi-Fi connection, but to what I believe that everybody has a smartphone and that everybody has at least data pack in it. I guess 1.5 GB is enough for a person to go through all of it. If we are not able to connect on Zoom meetings or stuff like these, we still can be connected on WhatsApp or anywhere else. The point is that it is not about the digitalization's pros and cons. I believe that if I want to study and I am willing to study, then I will find a way to study through digitalization in global pandemic. Second of all, there was a question. Can you just repeat the second question you said? Because I was a little confused what you were trying to convey to me. Moderator?
Surya, you can go ahead.
All right. My second question was, how is a couple of websites or a bunch of online tools a proper replacement for an education system that has been built and perfected over the centuries, which is known to provide motivation? How is a couple of websites equal to the motivation that you'll get with a teacher asking you to do homework or the amount of friends you have at school?
Okay. First of all, in school, we can see that in Indian system, most of the teachers, they want the first benchers to be their point of highlight, or like they'll be only teaching them. Like very rare of the teachers, like I'm not blaming all of the teachers, but some of the teachers do also want to look at the backbenchers. In online classes, the backbenchers also have the right and they have the proper right and they have all of the things, all of the tools to be provided to compete with the first benchers. It is no more a biased education system we had in India. Now it is more of a equalized. So I don't think so that going online is a bad thing. I do believe there are some cons of it, but I am thinking and what I believe that just a minute, the ending statement. So I believe that going online with the education system has done a better job than being using the traditional ones. Thank you.
Thank you, Tulika. Well done. The time taken for Surya's question is not deducted from Tulika's total time. So when the second alert came that her time was over is when she actually hit her 2-minute mark. Judges, please keep that in mind when you're scoring. And I can see Meghna's score. I can see your score from Vani ma'am, and I can see Isha ma'am's score as well. Thank you so much for that. And Tulika, you get to live in suspense. Aryan, you're up next. If you're ready with your points for rebuttal. Yes, Aryan, you're audible, but your audio quality is not all that great. Your mic seemed to keep moving last time when you were speaking. Excuse me.
Okay. Is it the same issue repeating right now?
No, so right now it's much better. Now that you're using the inbuilt mic, it's better than the hands-free mic that you had, right? If you're ready with your arguments or your rebuttal, we will start your time now.
Sure, sir. So actually, I agree with all the competitors, Surya, Guru, and Tulika, that as they said that basically that internet connection is not equally divided with all of them. Just like my case right now when I was debating and this my internet got off. So that can be the case. We should go digitalization, and it sounds crazy and exciting at the same moment. Why I'm saying that crazy? We're looking to the positive side of digitalization actually. That number of people will get equality in the terms of social media and status. But if we talk about the economic causes and income problems, then we have to face some major job losses. Basically, if we try to convey that we have the cell phones and this stuff, but when the time will come and the AI will get into the world, there will be no job losses, just as I mentioned about the American drivers' job losses. So that was all my point. Thank you.
Well done, Aryan. I think a couple of debates back, I had said this, that there are two ways of debating. One, go to one of the poles and argue completely from a very polarized point of view. And the second is a center line debate, where you kind of stick to the center, but push the arguments to your side. Very well done. You're one of those center line debaters in this particular topic, I see. Well, Guru.
Thanks.
Yes, sir. Okay. So before I start,
let me just check if the scores have all come in. Yes, the scores are there. So Guru, if you're ready with your rebuttal, we will start your time now.
Okay. Okay, so in the time I counted, 100 new users joined the internet there. And I completely agree with Surya saying that there's unequal access, but with the number of investments that are coming to India and other countries, third world countries, developing countries, from the developed countries, it doesn't seem like a future where we'll have to live with some people having no internet access, some people having internet access. And to address your point about online classes and not having Wi-Fi and all that, Geo costs 200 rupees per month. Okay, so and it can get me through all my classes, which are around 6 hours every alternative day. So I don't see why it can't get through everyone else's. Now, coming to Khan Academy, we don't say that it's a replacement for school. School is something else. Like you said, the connection, the motivation, all that. Khan Academy can't replace that, but having something is better than having nothing, right? Because there's many women, there's many girls around the world who are not allowed to go to school. And Khan Academy can help with that. If they have Geo on their phone and they have Khan Academy on their phone, they can they can learn the same thing that someone in school is learning. And that's what I want to emphasize here. And as one of the opposition said, AI will take over the world and all that. I didn't understand where it was coming from. It felt a little off topic, but addressing that as well. AI is something that will eventually take over jobs, but it'll create other jobs. That doesn't mean digitalization is bad. It means it's evolving. We don't say the steam engine was bad because it took a lot of jobs, right? No, it helped us evolve. And AI, therefore digitalization, is the same way. With that, I rest my case.
Well done, Guru. Some powerful rebuttal there. Let's see how the judges are scoring you. I can see all three scores have come in. Excuse me. And this is where you guys are expecting to see your scores, but no, not yet. Some more suspense is waiting for you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where I take the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about Notebook. Most debates, because we are the hosts, we have to stay neutral. We cannot really take sides. Unfortunately, in today's debate, we are squarely parked on one end of the spectrum. We at Notebook try to use digital means of delivery to make education accessible equally to every child across the country and anywhere else that students want to study from. What we do is we take the curriculum, the school curriculum from your textbooks, we convert every topic into fun, engaging, good-looking videos. These videos are not very long, they're 6 to 10 minutes in duration because we know you have a lot of pressure on your time. You can have access to these videos in the classroom where the teacher can use these videos to start a particular topic, maybe play a video for 6 minutes before a class starts, whether it's online or offline, whichever classroom mode we are talking about. And then when you go back home, maybe 6 months down the line when you have your terminal exam, this is what you can access from your smartphone and quickly revise the topic that you want to learn. What I will do now is show you a small clip from one of the notebook videos so that you know what I'm talking about. This is a class 6 CBSE topic called Tansen from the English curriculum. Can we play the video, please?
Hello students, welcome to Notebook. Have you heard the name Tansen before? Did you know he is considered one of the greatest musicians produced by our country? He was also considered one of the 9 jewels of King Akbar's court. In Behat near Gwalior lived Mukandan Mishra and his wife. Their only child, Tansen, was a very naughty boy. He would run and play in the forest. Soon, he learned how to imitate the calls of birds and animals. One day, the famous singer Swami Haridas was passing through the forest with his disciples or students. They decided to take rest in a shady grove. Tansen saw the strangers in the forest. He decided to scare them. Hiding behind a tree, Tansen imitated the roar of a tiger. The disciples scattered in fear. Swami Haridas told them that tigers were not always dangerous and decided to look for the tiger. Soon they realized that there were no tigers. The naughty Tansen was found hiding behind a tree. When he was brought before Haridas, he did not punish Tansen. Instead, Swami Haridas went to Tansen's father. He told Mukandan Mishra that his son, although naughty, was very talented. Swami Haridas offered to make Tansen a singer. From the age of 10, Tansen lived with Swami Haridas. He learnt music for 11 years and became a wonderful singer. Sadly, however, Tansen's parents soon died. Mukandan Mishra was greatly devoted to Muhammad Ghaus, a holy man who lived in Gwalior. It was Mukandan Mishra's dying wish that his son Tansen would visit Muhammad Ghaus. Tansen began living with Muhammad Ghaus. Tansen would often visit the court of Rani Meghna, a talented musician herself. One of the ladies of Rani Meghna's court, Hussaini, married Tansen. She too became a disciple of Haridas. Tansen and Hussaini had 5 children, who were all very musically gifted. Tansen's fame grew and he went on to perform in Akbar's court. Akbar invited him to join his court. Tansen joined Akbar's court in 1556. He became a favorite of the emperor. It was said that Akbar would call upon Tansen to hear his music at various times of the day and night. Sometimes, Akbar would often walk into Tansen's home to hear him practice. He even showered him with presents. Some of the courtiers soon became very jealous of Tansen. They decided to ruin Tansen. One of the courtiers, Shaukat Mia, had an idea. He decided to make Tansen sing Raga Deepak. It was said that if Raga Deepak was sung properly, it would make the air so hot that the singer would be burnt to ashes. Since Tansen was an excellent singer, his death would be assured. Shaukat Mia then went to Emperor Akbar. He told Akbar that a few of the courtiers, including himself, thought Tansen was not a great singer.
Well, we decided to leave that one on a cliffhanger because we would love you to go to Notebook. The website is www.notebook.school, and there's a mobile app for Android as well as iOS where you can watch all of these videos whenever you want. Well, to tell you a little bit more about Notebook and to give his feedback about the debate, we have with us Achin Bhattacharyya. Achin is the founder and CEO of Notebook. He's a chartered accountant by training and has worked in senior positions in all 4 major consultancies around the globe and within India. He was a director at Deloitte before he started Notebook. And then the drive to make education accessible digitally across the country and the world took over and Notebook was born. Achin, if you're there, over to you.
Sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Shubha, am I audible?
Yeah, Achin, loud and clear.
Saw some really interesting and insightful arguments this session. Surya, Tulika, Aryan, Guru, great show. I appreciate your enthusiasm and passion for public speaking. It is one of the most important skills that may help you achieve great heights in any profession. I would encourage all of you to work on your public speaking skills relentlessly so as to make it your lifetime asset. Now, coming to the broader purpose of hosting Zero Hour, when you step out of your school campus and step into a larger world, the society will look forward to your inputs and views on various issues, as debate, discussion, and public discourse are at the heart of any vibrant democracy. So please ensure that you never lose your sense of purpose when you debate on various issues with your fellow citizens, as your endeavor should always be to find out what is right and not who is right. Also, please ensure that you listen carefully. I think listening is a very important art. Unless we are tolerant enough to listen to each other's views, we may miss out on some very important perspective which someone may bring to the table. Now, I was very carefully listening to today's debate, and one fact which I would like to comment on, some very interesting insights in arguments and counter arguments I heard with regard to online versus offline. I honestly believe that schools and teachers will always be the first port of call, and no edtech or no online brand can ever substitute schools. The objective is to support the schools, supplement the schools, and even and both has its own pros and cons. Brick and mortar versus online, and I'll not go into details into that. The only thing that I'd like to add here is, which I guess is very important, that at the end of the day, as far as education is concerned, it's always a teacher and a student. And the role of any edtech brand, any technology at best is to act as an enabler, so as to ensure that we connect the best of teachers with bright, talented, knowledge-hungry students like you, so as to ensure that we optimize the outcome. We at Notebook are extremely humbled at being able to host this Zero Hour. Today we have more than 10,000 videos like the one you saw just now in public domain, which are accessed by more than 1 million students like you. Indeed, with your support, we have grown to be one of India's fastest growing edtech platforms. I also thank all the participants. To me, irrespective of the result, all of you are winners today for your performance, effort, and passion. I also thank both the adjudicators, the principals of both the schools, and the teachers who have helped in shaping up the contestants. I also congratulate the proud parents, and also thank the audience for their active encouragement and support to all our young debaters. It's important to come together during this hour of pandemic and support these events so as to ensure that we keep the spirits of our children high. I look forward to welcoming all of you in our next Zero Hour session today at 5 p.m. Thank you, take care, and goodbye. Over to you, Shubhayu.
Thank you, Achin. Thank you for those words of encouragement. Well, we are also very proud to have partnered with Save the Children. Save the Children is an NGO that is more than 100 years old now. They do a phenomenal amount of work around the globe, saving the childhoods of so many who are not as fortunate as us. Here's a short message from their CEO, Ms. Bidisha Pillai.
Save the Children was born in 1919. 100 years is not a milestone that many organizations or individuals can claim to have reached. And for us, it's been a tireless, relentless journey to ensure that every child has access to their rights. Every child has a voice. But when we look back at 100 years, because 100 is also a time to reflect, we wonder what it would be like to live in a world where children don't need to be saved. Perhaps we could live in a world where Save the Children does not need to exist. And so as we look at the future, we envision a world which is much kinder to its children. A world in which children no longer need to be protected from violence, where children are not needlessly dying before they turn 5, where every child is going to school, is learning, is playing, and is on that path towards fulfilling their full potential. As we turn 100, we pledge to work towards that future of a much kinder and brighter world for children. Every day, every hour, every minute, we will continue on that path. But we also know we can't do it alone. We want to work closely with the communities, with our partners, with the government, and most importantly with the children themselves. They are going to be the change makers of tomorrow. Children like Onoyara, like Rahul, like Salman, like Mamta, they are the ones who are breaking gender stereotypes. They are challenging social norms, and they are changing the world and the lives of themselves and also children around them. We pledge to continue working with them, alongside them, to ensure that every child gets the right start. I'm Bidisha Pillai, and I invite you to join Save the Children in our commitment to ensure that every child gets the right start.
Well, as I was saying, we are extremely proud to have partnered with Save the Children. In fact, the winners of the Zero Hour debate will be offered internships to work with the fantastic team at Save the Children and work on some real life projects. Also, interestingly enough, the topic that you're debating today was one of the topics that Save the Children felt was a topic that everybody should speak about, everybody should learn about, because inequality is at the heart of the crimes against children that happen. Well, I think I have taken enough time because the 4 contestants positively hate me right now. I've kept them away from their scores for so long. Well, I shall end the suspense now. If you can see your screens, these are your final scores out of 100 after 5 minutes of your arguments and 2 minutes of rebuttal. Surya, those are your scores. Tulika, that's how you have been scored. Aryan and Guru. Those are the final scores out of 100. Calculating the averages. Epistemo Vikas Leadership School, Hyderabad. One speaker is at 91 and the other at 96. Dehradun, Doon Heritage School, my apologies. Doon Heritage School, Dehradun. One speaker is at 84 and the other speaker is at 85. That means the averages of the 2 schools are 93 and 85, which is a gap of 8 points, much lesser than the 25 points allocated to the People's Choice Best Speaker. Audience, this is where you get to play a role, and a very, very significant one at that. I will now put up a poll on your screen. You will see 4 names of the 4 speakers on your screen. You will have to choose one of them as your choice of the best speaker of the day. The school having the best speaker gets 25 additional points, and in this scenario can definitely swing the result. If you're looking at your screen, the poll would come up now. You have 1 minute to place your vote. Half of the time still to go, 10 more votes yet to come in. Last 10 seconds. And we shall end the poll now. These, ladies and gentlemen, on your screens are the final results. Tulika got 20% of the votes. Aryan and Guru each got 24% of the votes each. But running away in the audience poll is Surya with 34% of the votes, which means Epistemo Vikas Leadership School has the 25 additional points. I will take a minute to tabulate the scores. In the meantime, Meghna, if I can invite you to have your views on this topic and your feedback to all the participants.
Thanks, Subayu. Thanks as always. Well, some brilliant debating today from the contestants. I have to say it. Everyone was very upbeat and much to the point. Surya, Guru, Aryan, Tulika, outstanding performance. You all are phenomenal policymakers already. I have to say this. And I'm absolutely glad that Notebook, as a part of the school fraternity, has already been successful in raising the international standards for online debating during this COVID-19 pandemic. In the past few days of my interactions with key contacts from international schools from Middle East, Africa, and Nepal, I have realized that foreign schools have long geared up for such worldwide competitions. And we from home would have to develop determination, courage, and face them with the same grit in these battles. It's also very encouraging to see Indian schools holding their forts so robustly and displaying equal, if not better, delivery of motions. Today's debate session was one such great example. So congratulations to both the schools. And returning to the topic, I would just have to say that today's topic primarily debates whether the new form of digital inclusion can be a means of bringing forth equity to a nation when children have disadvantaged access to schooling opportunities and tech-based education. Here I would like to give a very simple example. If you wish to fly a plane, for example, you would have to develop the mindset to be a fighter pilot and then diligently practice and train yourself in that direction. You cannot dream to be a pilot with the skills or a mindset that's associated with an ordinary disk-based job. It's the same with digital education. There's sufficient scientific evidence that digital learning has the potential to bring forth democratization of educational opportunities. We humans have never said no to new waves of industrialization, privatization for better socioeconomic returns. So it would eventually be the same for digital education. I appreciate Guru's point. Guru made the same point here. Looking at pros and cons, therefore, country governments need to unleash this benevolent potential by establishing a mindset that vigorously overcomes hindrances to embrace opportunities, frame new laws that make tech accessible for everyone for smooth transition to a digitally enabled world. So with that, I would like to end my session here. Extremely grateful to the school teachers, parents who have taken their time out and positively motivated children to join this session. Also, a special thanks to the school principals for their support towards the Zero Hour event, without whom this event wouldn't be worthwhile at all. Thank you so much. Over to you, Shubhai.
Thank you, Meghna. Thank you for those wonderful words of encouragement. And as always, your knowledgeable take on the topic. Well, all the participants, why are you guys hiding? Put on your cameras. Surya looks like he's jumped around the room a little bit. His hair looks a little ruffled. Aryan, Guru, we would love to have you back on the camera. So first, Aryan, Tulika, this takes nothing away, not an inch away from the fantastic debate that you've just had. I was selected for the All Asian Debate Indian team way back in 2003 as a part of my college team. I was an engineering college student then. And the topic given to us for the selection was that digital enablement will increase socioeconomic divides, right? This topic has been debated for that long and longer than that. And my arguments were not half as good as yours. So fantastically well done. Surya and Guru, I believe celebrations are in order. I don't know how safe it is to roam around in Hyderabad right now, but I believe if Cornerstone is open, you should treat yourselves to an ice cream. With that said,
my young friends, I'll have to say this was in complete humility of Shubhayu. He really debates well. and has been a champion among all of us. So I had to say that. I'm sorry.
Well, on that embarrassing note, the winners today for the 18th match in the 0 Hour Debates, Epistemo Vikas Leadership School, Hyderabad. Very, very well done. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will leave you for about an hour, because at 5 o'clock India time today, we have the next debate today, where we hope to see all of you present. Until then, take care and goodbye.